Hey y'all, it's More back here again. And yes, this is our family cat. If you see any fur or anything, or if the video starts to shake, that is the reason why, or she is the reason why. But I know you probably saw my last video, or maybe it might be before or after. You never know. You never know with me. But to further talk about what we're going to talk about, you can probably tell by the title, even by the thumbnail. And you're probably wondering, Trent, what's going on with you, man? You're only 19. You can't get relationship advice. Well, I must disagree respectfully, okay? Now, as I said in the last video, a lot of people always come to me for advice. And this right here, this video that you're going to watch right now, it's a piece of advice that I've been telling a group of young men for quite a while. Recently in times past, I was approached by some young men. And they were asking me for advice on how to talk to girls and how to talk to women, ... And one of the major things that I told them, and like I said, you can tell by the thumbnail, you can tell by the title, and you can understand quite simply where I'm going with this. And this is not only something that is for men, this is also for women as well. It's something that really is common sense to the human eye and to the human mind, right? Okay? And this is what I always told them. I said, look, guys, looks aren't everything. Okay? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, the reason why I say that is because when it comes to looks, and this even goes to my thumbnail, if you ever look at my channel, no pun intended, but if you ever look at my channel, what you'll notice that my thumbnails have sometimes included me in it. Sometimes they've included just a blank screen and some words. You never know. It depends on my mood. It depends on how I'm feeling. But I have been kind of really gearing towards making these unique looking thumbnails that are just a lot more simplistic, simple, just like the ones you've seen probably already with this video, right? But to further talk about why, simply why this title means a lot, why this piece of advice means a lot, it's pretty simple. Looks are something that we always think about, and that's something, it can be applied to literally almost anything. The way we look at food, the way we look at animals, the way we look at ourselves in the mirror, the way we look at our clothes, the way we look at the world around us. But specifically what we're mainly discussing is the way we look at people. But the same way that I'm going to apply this or use this form of application at the way that we look at people, the same thing can be used at a lot of other things, business deals, contracts, a lot of things, because you can look at a contract and say, ooh, that sounds really nice. But at the end of the day, it's really not even that nice, because you're really losing a lot more money than what you're gaining, right? But it can be applied with people as well. That person may look really nice, but you're ultimately going to lose a lot with that person rather than gain a lot. Whether you want to gain a lot emotionally, physically, wherever it may be, spiritually, whatever you wanted to gain out of that person, you may not even get it all. You may not get what you desire. And so that's simply the truth. Looks are not everything. The reason why is because it can be, in your opinion, right? And I've always said it, I don't really believe in there being the most handsome guy in the world. I don't believe in there being the most beautiful woman in the world, or the most beautiful man in the world, or the most handsome woman in the world, whatever you like to say. I've never really believed in that. However, what I will say at the end of the day is that, simply put, looks aren't everything. So, like I said, all in all, and yes, I was speaking to my father, but all in all, what I have to say is the reason why this all makes so much simple sense, and why this video probably won't even be that long, is because at the end of the day, you can look at someone and they might be very attractive to you, but once you really get to know them, once you really get to understand their personality for what it is, your total attraction is going to be gone. Because at the end of the day, attraction is something that's not only physical. I made this point in my These City Girls Really Act Up. I made that point in that whole series, is that, simply put, a person's looks may look really nice, but really it's the personality that you really need to pay a little bit more closer attention to, right? And the reason why this weighs a factor is because, I had to tell guys this over and over again this first semester of college, or really, my first year of college as a freshman. I had to tell them over and over again, that girl, she's very attractive. She's a beautiful young girl, but once I got to know her, everything started falling apart. I wasn't attracted to her anymore. And it's because attraction is something that is not only physical, but it's also mental as well. Attraction is based on energy. Attraction is based on physicality. It's based off mentality. It's based off spirituality. It's based off a lot of alities, in other words, right? But really, it's also based on simply you You know, and that's why I say looks are different in everyone's perceptions and perspectives and viewpoints and point of view. That's simply the reality of us as human beings. We all have a different way of looking at something. So at the end of the day, I might look at this woman, I might say, ooh, I'm really attracted to her. Like, she's really nice looking. But another guy might look at her and say, oh, she's all right. But at the end of the day, I like to always say all human beings are beautiful, you know. But at the end of the day, what are we as human beings? We're very, very descriptive. We like to tell what we like. We're descriptive. We're very specific. We're detailed in what we like, what we don't like, right? And that even goes down to body type, ethnicity, you know, ethnic background, hair type, height preference. A lot of different things go into looks, right? But at the end of the day, as what's the whole point of the video? Looks aren't everything. So as I say, you know, all I'm trying to say is you all look. The next time you may be approaching something, whether it may be a person or whether it may be a business deal or whether it may be something that just looks nice, maybe it doesn't look so nice. You know, my family and I, we were going car shopping for my brother. And, you know, we would look at these cars and we would be, you know, like, hey, these cars look really nice, excuse me. But then once we open up the car, we notice all these dents, all these holes and tears and this and that. And that's a prime example of how something simple as car shopping can be applied to people, right? We were looking at those cars and we were looking at them, right, from the outside. But then once we took a look on the inside, we realized everything really wasn't worth it. Same thing can happen with people. You can look at them on the outside, they look really attractive, but once you take a deeper look and inspection and examination and detailed look into that person, right, into their personality, into what they really are, you're not attracted to them. That's why I've always said, the reality is that you should never settle for something that is so much less than you, you know? If you know that you're worth more, why are you settling for less? It's that simple. And the reason why I say this is because you look at certain people that have decided, well, I haven't had any luck. I haven't had any success. Everything's just going to trash. It's not working out for me. So what do? They settle for something that's so far less than what they actually truly deserve. It's sad. It's terrible, really. I've seen it. And so the reason why I even make that point is because I want to tell you all and encourage you all as well. Don't just settle for someone because they look nice to you, because they look beautiful in your opinion, because they look attractive. You know, settle for, or not even settle, because the word settle is an implication. In other words, it implies that you are simply saying, it's enough, but it's not really what I want. I'm not really content, right? And this is why at the end of the day, I've said it in a nutshell as well. I think one of my biggest predictions for this generation is that there's going to be a lot of settling. There already has been, right? Because I've said as well, you know, and it's also something in the past as well. One of the reasons why certain people would marry each other back in the past is because they got pregnant, right? They got that person pregnant, they had a kid. And really, traditionally speaking, it was always, once you got that person pregnant, you stay with them, right? In other words, you are settling for that person, but you're only settling for that person for what? For the reality that you don't want that kid to grow up to be parentless, to be fatherless, motherless, right? And so that was a main thing back in the past, but it's still something that goes on in the present as well. And the reason why I make that point is because that is the same way that young people are settling today. They only settle for what is enough, not for the exact, right? And the reality is, and the big question is, why do you do that? You know, and that goes back into the point of simply this. Like I said, some people, and it's an interesting phenomenon to me, why do some of these girls only like hood guys, or, you know, the guys that seem to be thugs, right? This has been a big question over the past few years. And I've always said that it's a matter of settling, or it's a matter of just like, you know, it's enough for them. But then that's what certain girls like. They like being mistreated. Sad to say it, but it's the truth. And it's a harsh reality that we may not ever understand, but sometimes it goes deep into that person's childhood, that person's upbringing, a variety of things. But like I said, what was another big reason for that even happening? The looks of everything, right? That girl may have looked at that guy and say, oh, well, you know, he looks really nice. He looks really good. I just want to, you know, be with him because he looks good. But then they get to know him, everything's terrible. So that's why I tell you all, the same thing can happen with guys as well. You look at a girl, and I had to tell guys this. there are a lot of things that you can look at that show a lot about the person that you are engaging with, right? And I've said it before. It can be the things that that girl is wearing. It can be the things that guy is wearing. It can be a variety of things, but all those things are based on what looks. And I kid you not, you can look at a person, you see what they're wearing, and that alone can show a lot about what they really are, who they really are, what they really do, what they like to participate in, how they respect themselves. Do they respect themselves? They probably don't respect themselves. I don't know. But for the most part, it won't be that difficult to tell. So that's why I tell you all, at the end of the day, looks aren't everything. I know it's kind of a rant. It's kind of all over the place, but then sometimes everything works together. But I want to tell you all, at the end of the day, yes, looks are not everything. I know from experience. Trust me. But it was Trent Moore back here again. I hope you all enjoyed that video. If you want to hear any more relationship advice, any more advice in general, let me know in the comment section. Let me know. I'll see you all later. Peace. Bye.